Leonard Fraser, a name that sends shivers down the spine of anyone who hears it. His very presence cast a dark shadow over the towns of Queensland, Australia. The name whispers fear in the sleepy towns of Queensland, Australia. These towns, once peaceful and serene, became the hunting grounds for a man whose evil knew no bounds. This isn't Hollywood horror, it's real. The terror that Fraser brought was palpable, a living nightmare that haunted the streets and the minds of the people. Fraser was a monster who walked among us. He blended into the fabric of society, hiding his true nature behind a facade of normalcy. He preyed on the innocent, their lives cut short, their families forever broken. The pain and suffering he caused are immeasurable, leaving scars that will never heal. Fraser's reign of terror lasted for years. Each season brought new horrors, new victims, and a community that grew more fearful with each passing day. He haunted the highways and byways, leaving a trail of death and despair. The roads that once symbolized freedom and adventure became paths of dread and sorrow. He was a predator in its purest form, driven by dark desires. His actions were calculated, his motives sinister, and his presence a constant threat, fueled by a rage that knew no bounds. His anger was like a storm, unpredictable and destructive, leaving nothing but chaos in its wake. His crimes shocked the nation, headlines screamed of his atrocities, and the public was gripped by a fear that permeated every aspect of life. How could this happen in our own backyard? The fear was palpable. Communities that once felt safe and secure were now on edge, always looking over their shoulders. Mothers held their children closer. Fathers became more vigilant. The sense of security that once enveloped these towns was shattered, replaced by a constant state of alertness. Doors were bolted, lights left on. The simple act of locking a door became a ritual of protection, a small comfort in a world turned upside down. The Gympie murderer, as he became known, had shattered the illusion of safety. His actions left a permanent mark on the psyche of the community. This is the story of those crimes, the victims, the investigation, the relentless pursuit of justice by those who refused to let Fraser's darkness prevail, and the man who cast a long shadow over paradise. A shadow that, despite the passage of time, still lingers in the hearts and minds of those who lived through the nightmare. Leonard John Fraser was born in New South Wales, a region known for its picturesque landscapes and serene countryside. But behind the beauty of this place, Leonard's life was anything but serene. He was one of 11 children, growing up in a large family that struggled to make ends meet. His upbringing was tumultuous, marked by constant chaos and instability. Poverty, neglect, and violence were constants in his early life. The neighborhood he grew up in was run down, a place where dreams were often crushed before they could even begin. Some speculate these early traumas planted the seeds of darkness within him. Fraser drifted through life, never finding a true sense of purpose or direction. He worked odd jobs, but nothing ever seemed to stick. He was a man lost in his own world. He was described as a loner, someone who kept to himself and rarely interacted with others. His solitude was a shield, hiding the turmoil that brewed inside him. Quiet, but with a simmering rage beneath the surface. His eyes often betrayed the anger he tried to keep hidden. Those who looked closely could see the storm that was always on the verge of breaking. He had a criminal record, a history of petty theft and assault. These were early signs of the darkness that would later consume him. Each brush with the law was a step further down a path from which there was no return, a harbinger of the darkness to come. The signs were there, but they were often overlooked or dismissed as minor infractions. Little did anyone know, these were just the beginning. By the 1990s, Fraser had settled in Gympie, Queensland. He blended in seamlessly with the small-town life, becoming just another face in the crowd. An unremarkable face in the crowd, he moved through life unnoticed, his dark past hidden behind a facade of normalcy. No one suspected the monster lurking within. To his neighbors, he was just another resident, someone who blended into the fabric of the community. But the monster was about to be unleashed. The storm that had been brewing for years was finally ready to break, and the consequences would be devastating. Fraser's first known victim was a 14-year-old girl. She vanished without a trace in 1998. Her body was never found. But the community was shaken. A darkness had descended upon their peaceful town. Then, in 1999, the body of a 38-year-old woman was discovered. She had been brutally murdered. The town held its breath. This wasn't a random act, a killer walked among them. More victims followed. Women, young and old, targeted by Fraser. Each murder more brutal than the last. He would stalk his victims, gaining their trust before attacking. He was cunning and ruthless, leaving no witnesses, or so he thought. In 2000, Fraser made a mistake. He abducted a 51-year-old woman, but this time, his victim fought back. She struggled with every ounce of her being. Her screams pierced the night. Her resistance, while futile against his brutality, would prove to be his undoing. He left her for dead, but she survived. Battered and bruised, she crawled to safety. Her testimony would be crucial in finally bringing Fraser to justice. The police finally had their break. The survivor's description led them to Leonard Fraser. He was arrested and charged with multiple counts of murder, rape, and deprivation of liberty. The trial was a media sensation. The details of Fraser's crimes shocked the nation. The prosecution presented a mountain of evidence: DNA, fiber analysis, and the chilling testimony of the surviving victim. The jury reached a guilty verdict. Leonard Fraser was sentenced to multiple life sentences. He would die in prison in 2007, taking his secrets to the grave. Section 6. Scars on the landscape. The impact of Fraser's crimes on the Gympie community was profound. The sense of safety was shattered. People were afraid to walk alone, especially women. The fear was palpable. Fraser's crimes left families devastated, loved ones gone, the pain still raw, the healing process slow and arduous. The community rallied around the families, offering support and solace. But the scars of Fraser's crimes run deep. They are a permanent reminder of the darkness that once visited their town. Section 7. The Monster in the Mirror. What drives a man to such depravity? It's a question that haunts us. Fraser never offered any explanation for his actions. He remained silent and remorseless. Some experts believe he was a classic psychopath, lacking empathy and remorse, driven by a need for power and control. Others point to his traumatic childhood, a cycle of violence that he could not escape. The truth is, we may never truly understand what made Leonard Fraser a monster, but his case serves as a chilling reminder that evil can lurk in the most unexpected places. Section 8. Lessons Unlearned. In the aftermath of Fraser's capture, there were calls for change: increased police presence, better street lighting, measures to improve community safety. But have we done enough? Fraser's case and others like it force us to confront uncomfortable truths about the nature of evil, about the vulnerabilities in our society, and about the need for constant vigilance. We must never forget the lessons learned from the darkness. Section 9. The Enduring Shadow. In the annals of true crime, few names evoke as much fear and fascination as Leonard Fraser. His reign of terror may have ended, but the shadow he cast continues to loom large over our collective consciousness. Leonard Fraser may be gone, but his legacy of terror lives on. His crimes were not just acts of violence, they were a manifestation of the darkest corners of the human psyche. Each crime scene, each victim, tells a story of unimaginable horror and loss. But his legacy of terror lives on. The broken windows, the empty playgrounds, and the deserted streets are all silent witnesses to the atrocities he committed. They stand as grim reminders of the fear that once gripped entire communities. He is a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface. The seemingly peaceful settings of forests and urban streets can hide the most sinister of intentions. His story serves as a stark warning that evil can be found in the most unexpected places. A reminder that evil can wear a human face. The ordinary can become extraordinary in the most terrifying ways. The lonely park bench, the empty urban park, and the silhouette in a dimly lit area all symbolize the hidden dangers that can lurk in our everyday lives. His case continues to fascinate and horrify. The public's morbid curiosity is fueled by the gruesome details of his crimes. Crowds gather around crime scenes, newspapers sell out, and books fly off the shelves as people seek to understand the mind of a monster. True crime documentaries, podcasts, and books keep his name alive. These mediums delve deep into his life and crimes, offering insights and theories that keep the public engaged. They serve as both a source of information and a form of entertainment, blurring the lines between reality and fiction, but more importantly, they serve as a reminder of the human cost of such crimes. Behind every headline, every documentary are real people who suffered unimaginable pain. Memorials and vigils are held to honor the victims, to remember their lives, and to offer solace to their grieving families. We must never forget the victims, their lives cut short, their families forever changed. Each flower placed on a park bench, each tear shed, is a testament to the enduring impact of these heinous acts. The pain and loss ripple through communities, leaving scars that may never fully heal. We owe it to them to learn from the past, to understand the warning signs, to recognize the red flags, and to take action before it's too late. Public forums and discussions are essential in fostering a collective awareness and a proactive approach to preventing future tragedies. To work towards a future where such horrors are never repeated, a future where communities are vigilant, where children can play without fear, and where the shadows of the past no longer haunt us. It is a collective responsibility, a shared mission, to build a safer, more compassionate world.